So multiplying fractions, we can use models to represent our fraction multiplication. So let's look at 1/3 times 1/4. Now it does not matter which fraction you make as a row, it does not matter which fraction you make as a column, but it's good to stick with a pattern that works for you. So in the book, they actually use the first fraction as a column. I like to use the first fraction as a row. So I'm just going to show you an alternate way of doing this. So this would say that I have 3 rows because of the denominator, and a total of 4 columns for the second fraction. And so from there, I can draw my model. So 3 rows, and I might go ahead and just label them so I know how far to go over on the graph paper. So I have 1, 2, 3 rows, and then I have 1, 2, 3, 4 columns. So now I can see that I need to go over that far and vertically that far. All right. So lightly, I like to go ahead and shade in the number of rows and columns that are given in the fraction. So in the first one, I have 1 out of 3 rows. So the first row I'm going to shade in. There's 1 out of 4 columns being shaded in for the second fraction. And so I'm going to go ahead and shade in 1 column. And I notice that there's a spot where they both overlap. They both overlap in this first little square. And so I can say that there is a total of 1 out of, and we can use an area model like you've done before in 3rd and 4th grade. This is a 4x3 area model. So that's a total of 12 pieces. And so my answer is 1/12. But I can come back to that and relate that now to...
On the campus, dismissal for Riley Fishman, grade 6, Mr. Tobin. Dismissal for Riley Fishman, grade 6, Mr. Tobin.
I can relate that now to our multiplication. If I multiply across the numerators, I get 1. If I multiply across the denominators, I get 12. And look at that, they're both the same. So of course I'd like to try one more with you, in which we get a little bit more complex. Let's take a look at 1/2 times 2/3. Well, sometimes you can simplify first to make it easier for yourself. That means, can I find a common factor between the numerator and the denominator? Well, in this case, there's a 2 up top, and there's a 2 at the bottom that I can divide by 2. So if I divide this 2 by 2 and this 2 by 2, I can rewrite this fraction as 1/1 times 1/3. And then multiply across. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 3 is 3. And that would be my final answer for this one. Notice that if I had just multiplied this across, it would give me 2/6, and then I would divide by 2 in the numerator and the denominator. So you could simplify first, or you could simplify last.